Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Product Knowledge. Today we are going to look at legal process and introduction to law. So that's what we are going to look at today. What is law and what do we understand by the term law? Okay, so our learning outcomes by the end of this lesson, we should be able to define law. We explain the key terms and phrases in the definition. Also, we outline the characteristics of law. That's what we supposed to know after this lesson. Okay. Why are we learning law? Okay. Some of us will just hear this word law, and today we are going to look at what does this word law means and why are we learning this law. Okay, so to our first point reads understanding rights and responsibilities. So law teaches you your legal rights and duties as a citizen. Knowing the law helps prevent legal disputes and ensure you act within legal boundaries. So that's why we are learning law. You as a citizen, you are supposed to know your rights as well as your responsibilities. Okay. Also, by knowing your rights, you'll be able to set your boundaries. Okay, I'm supposed to go this far, and this far I'm not supposed to cross. That's what it simply means. Point number two, promotes justice and fairness. Okay, studying law develops an appreciation for justice, equality, and fairness. It allows individuals to challenge injustice and protect vulnerability groups. Okay, so when you see something wrong in the society, you'll be able to stand in as a legal practitioner who understands what law is so that you prevent that injustice which is happening in the society. So you'll be able to tell those people that no, what you're doing is wrong. We are supposed to do this to promote our society so that we may be able to live a happy and fairness life in our societies, in our community, in our state. That's what it simply means. Then point number three, enhance critical thinking. You know, when you understand law is, you'll be able to think beyond. Okay, law requires analysis, reasoning, and problem solving skills. So you'll be able to tell when you find a dispute is happening, you'll be able to tell before you even come to a conclusion. You'll be able to resolve that issue by thinking. Okay, you'll be thinking that, okay, this person is wrong and this person is right. Okay, by doing that, meaning you are expanding your knowledge. Okay, you are able, okay, you are able to analyze, also reasoning. Okay, you'll be able to tell that, okay, what this person is doing, what this individual is doing is not something which is accepted by law. Okay, it trains you to evaluate evidence, interpret laws, and make informed decision. So like what we have explained, you'll be able to tell when you find people are arguing or when you find a dispute is happening between two individuals. You'll be able first to reasoning. Also, you analyze what the problem is. Also, you'll be able to tell that, okay, this one is wrong and this one is right. So that's what we are saying. Also, point number four, protect society. You'll be able to protect the society. When you see something wrong in the society, you'll be able to stand in and tell those people that, okay, you are doing a wrong thing here and we are supposed to do this. Okay. Learning law helps you understand societal norms and regulations that maintains order and peace. Like what we have said, you'll be able to know your social norms in that society, and you'll be able to advise citizens, your fellow citizens in that society. Okay, it equips citizens to participate responsibly, okay, in governance. So you'll be able to know all these things, and you'll be able to know your boundaries, where you stand, where you're supposed to stand in, and where you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. Okay. Point number 4, personal empowerment. You yourself, you empower yourself by studying law. Okay. Knowledge of law gives confidence to navigate legal system, handle contract, or resolve dispute effectively. Okay, you'll be able to stand in as a legal practitioner for any injustice which is happening in the society. You'll be able to stand in like a police officer, or like a soldier. Those people are trained, not fear of their duty. Okay, a police officer, when he sees some which is something is wrong in the society, he will be able, or she will be able to stand in and tell those people that what you're doing, you'll be convicted. Okay, you'll be able to do that. What are the benefits when you study law? What are you going to get in a return? Okay, as a student or as a legal practitioner, what are you going to get? Or just a normal citizen, by you understanding what law is, what are you able to gain? Okay, so number 1, awareness of rights and dispute. We have already mentioned this. So helps individuals know their legal rights and responsibilities, preventing legal trouble. Okay. Number 2, protection from legal problems. Protection from legal problems. So you'll be able to understand what law is, also to avoid violation, dispute, and potential penalties. You'll be able to know this. Okay. Promotes justice and fairness. You'll be able to promote, encourage respect of justice, equality, and social order. Number 4, enhance critical thinking and problem solving. So you'll be able to understand this, and you'll be able to think beyond of what you yourself you are thinking. Empowerment and confidence. We have already spoken this. Also contribution to society. Okay. Definition of law. I know that in some other books, we have a lot of definition of law. Okay. When you go to different sites, when you go to different books, you find law explained in different categories. Like today, what I've given you, this definition qualifies because you'll be able to understand when we go deeper into our lesson for today. Okay, what is law? Let's define law. So law, it is the body of customs and rules governing human conduct of a community, which is formally recognized as a binding among those people who constitute that community, and those are enforced by controlling authorities in that community. So I'm going to explain those highlighted key points. Okay, we are going to analyze, we are going to see what do we simply means when we say it's a body of customs and rules, okay, which are govern human conduct of a community. What do we simply means? And also when we say enforced, what are we saying? Also when we say controlling authorities, what do we simply means when we say controlling authorities? Okay, Or we can say law is a set of rules and regulation established by a governing authority to regulate the behavior of people in a society. Why are we doing that? To maintain order, protect rights, and ensure justice is preserved. Okay, justice is preserved in the society or in a state, or where you're coming from, like in your family. That's what we simply mean. So law are binding and must be followed. Okay, when you don't follow these rules, these laws, you are going to be punished, and a certain punishment is specified. Okay, like in the penal code of Zambia, chapter 87, they are specified what kind of a penalty you get. Okay, they are enforced by the state through courts or other authorities. What are we saying? They are enforced. So enforced, we'll explain later to our key definition terms in that first definitions when we go deeper. Okay, so we're saying that they are enforced by the state. Who is the state? The state is just people living in that country. What makes the state is people. Okay, it's people. So the aim is to maintain social order, resolve disputes, and protect individuals and property. So law was established, okay, so that this can be maintained. You know, when you go uh when you go in an organization, like you are employed in an organization, then you find that there are no company rules. Everyone can do what they feel like to do. Okay, no wonder there are some certain condition. What are you supposed to do as an employee? What are you supposed to do when you reach in that particular organization? It's just same applies to our various homes. Into our various home, there's what we call controlling authorities, and those are parents. The parents are controlling authorities. Okay, or we can say those people are the state of that house. Why are we saying this, that they are controlling authorities or they are the government or that of that house? Is because they come up with those rules. Okay, and those rules, they are being controlled by them. There is a certain time which you're supposed to reach home, and or let me say you are a woman, a daughter of that house, and you are strictly told that you are supposed to reach home by 18 hours. Those are rules which they have bind. Okay, they have binded to you. And when you don't follow those rules, when you don't reach home by 18 hours, there is a certain punishment which will be given to you. It's either you won't eat, okay, or you'll be quarantined, okay. They will say you won't leave this house until next week, Sunday. You'll be just here. No more going for tuitions, no more going for church. You'll be here. Those are rules which are bind to you. That's what we are simply means. Okay? That's what we are saying. Okay. By understanding the definition, let's now look into the key definition terms of why we are saying it is the body of custom and the rules governing human conduct of a community, which is formally recognized as a binding, okay, among those people. Like what I've mentioned, the parents make rules at home. Those are the government, okay? And you Children's, you are the citizens of that house. They make rules, the parents, and those rules are binded to you. Okay? When you don't follow those rules, a certain consequences will be upon you. Okay. Let's go into the key terms and phrases in the definition, like what I've explained, those highlighted ones. So we'll start with the customs. Why are we saying it is the body of customs? Why are we saying this? First of all, what is a custom? So a custom are traditional practices, okay, habits or norms of a particular society or community that are generally accepted and followed by its members. They often developed over a long period and influenced social behavior. Those are customs. Why are we saying these are traditional practices? You know, when we look at the states or the countries which we are currently living in, when we say Zambia and America, these are two different countries. Okay, when you come to Zambia, there are certain customs that we follow. When you go to America, there's a certain custom which they follow. Okay. Also, in Zambia, we have other traditions. Okay. We have traditional leaders. We have tribes. And those tribes, they have a certain tradition which they follow. Okay. That's what we are saying. Also, when we look into the Christian, like religious aspect, we have Christians and Muslims. Muslims, they have a certain values and customs which they follow compared to Christians. That's what it simply means. Muslims, they go in to pray in temple. Then Christian, you go in church. Those are customs. Okay? Those are customs. So when you break those customs, you go to Muslims. And instead of you going to the temple, you go in church, you are breaking those rules. Yeah, you are breaking those customs. That's what we are saying. So here in Zambia, we have customs and norms according to our traditional types. We have Chewa people, we have Ngoni, okay? We have Bemba, we have Lozis. All those people, they have different culture, okay? Like for instance, Chewa people, their culture is Kulamba ceremony. It's Kulamba ceremony. They know what they are supposed to do when that day comes to those people, Chewa people. Okay? We also have Ngonis. Ngonis, they have Unchwala ceremony. That's what we are saying under customs. No wonder when we go into the customary law, remember this is just summarized, but there is a full notes on customary law. So when we say a customary law, so it's a body of rules, practices, and norms that have been traditionally accepted and recognized and enforced by the court. It is a type of law derived from long-standing customs rather than a legislation. Okay? When you come in Zambia, for example, when you come in Zambia, greeting elders with respect is mainly African society. So we have a custom on how we are supposed to greet elderly person. Okay, you can't just greet an elderly person like you are in America. No, you can't greet anyone like you are in India. No, there's a way on how we greet. Also, when it comes to observing local marriages or inheritance practice, we have a customs which we follow when we want to marry someone. Okay? So when you come in Zambia and when you go to America, we have different certain custom when it comes to marriage. We have different norms and customs. Okay? There's what we follow. And also when it comes to uh, women, and also when it comes to men, when you reach your puberty stage, in women, we have what we call in our local language, which is Zambia, we have what we call chinamwali. They go to a certain practice, teaching, okay? They teach those women, they teach them and they reach at a certain stage, okay, this one now is ready for marriage. That's what we are saying. But when you go to another country, they have other things, what they do. So that's what we are saying under customs. We have our habitual ways of doing things in our certain countries, in our certain traditional tribes. That's what we are saying. Hope it's clear. Then we jump into rules governing human conduct. What are we saying when we say rules governing human conduct? Okay, these are guidelines, norms, or standards that regulates the behavior of individuals in society to ensure order, justice, and harmony. These rules tell people what they can or cannot do and the consequences of their actions. So we can give an example of moral rules. But first, before we go into the examples, what have we understood in that definition of rules governing human conduct? That's a key point. Like what I explained earlier about the parents and their children. Okay, they teach those children what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. That's rules governing human conduct. They tell you what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. Same applies when you go to the universities, when you go to colleges, you find the rules there. Or when you go to any certain organization for employment, okay, or you go into any kind of the province you are in, you find that they will tell you that, okay, here, when you are greeting people, we don't kneel down and you are supposed to follow. When you don't follow, there is a certain consequences given or a certain punishment given to you. That's what we are saying about the rules governing human conduct. It just teaches you of what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. That's what it's saying. Then let's dive into the examples. When you look at into the moral aspect, always tell the truth. This one is direct and straightforward. When you don't tell the truth, when you lie, there is a certain punishment given to you. Then respect people's property. You always respect when you reach into a certain house, maintain that social order, maintain that respect which you find. Okay, you can't go above that authority. I even remember this when you are a Catholic member. Okay, when you're a Catholic member, then you are young, you go to a certain house, then you find those people are Jehovah's Witness. Then they tell you that, okay, as everyone who visit this house is supposed to go to Jehovah's Witness. What are you supposed to do? Is to follow. You go to Jehovah's Witness, okay, you pray with them, Then when you go back, that's when now you resume your many church, okay, which is Catholic member. That's what we are saying about moral aspect. You respect that Nankan which you find at that house. Then example number 2, under religious laws. Okay, praying 5 times a day in Islam. So in Islam, when you go, you are a new member. Those people pray 5 times in a day. And you are supposed to follow that. When you break that law, a certain punishment will be rendered to you, will be given to you. And the punishment is specified. Okay? Observing diet restriction. There are some certain examples there. Kosher in what? In Judaism. They have a specific diet when it comes to religious. Those people follow this extensively. Okay, attending church or religious gatherings, you are supposed to follow. When you go into legal aspect, which is legal rules or law, obeying traffic signals and speed limits. When we look here in Zambia, we have these bus drivers or a just normal driver. When there is a red light, what does it simply means? You are not supposed to cross. Then when you cross, a certain punishment will be given to you because you're not following. Okay? Also, not committing theft, assault, or fraud. This is under now criminology. It tells you don't steal, okay? Don't assault, don't do assault and fraud. When you do this kind of behavior, a certain punishment will be given to you without fail. That's what we are saying in law. Okay, that's what we are saying in governing human conduct. So we are supposed to follow this. Remember in our definition, we said enforced. What do we saying about the enforced? So enforced rules are rules that are officially backed, okay, by an authority and whose violation leads to penalties, punishment, or legal consequences. Enforcement ensures that people comply with the rules. To ensure that rules are followed, obedience to the law is required and forced. Failure to obey the law, punishment is specified. So what are we saying under the enforced? So we are just saying that when they make these rules, they are enforced, meaning they are in power. And you are not supposed to break that law. When you break that law, a punishment is specified. Okay? Like what I've explained earlier. In a family, they tell you that 18 hours you're supposed to be home. You come in at 20 hours at your own time. They will tell you that you won't eat today and tomorrow, so that you learn, and no one supposed to do this kind of behavior here in our house. That's what we are saying about the enforced. Okay? Then about the authority, we are reaching there. Okay, examples, legal rules again. Enforced by the state or government. Okay? In your family, a government, they are your parents. In a state, who is the government? Is the government elected by the state? That's what we are saying. The members of parliament, the cabinet, the president, the vice president, those are the government. Minister of Health, all those are the government, and they are supposed even them to follow these rules. Remember that no one is above the law. When we say the constitution, what are we saying? This is a written document, which is specified. Okay? And we are saying the constitution is the supreme law of the land, meaning no one is above the constitution. Even the government is not above the constitution. That constitution was made by the state. So even these people, they are supposed to follow this law. Obeying traffic lights, penalties for speeding or running a red light. There is a consequences. Then paying taxes. Penalty for tax evasion is given to you if you are not what? Paying your tax. Not committing crimes like theft or assault. Punishment by fines or imprisonment will be given to you. That's what we are saying. Who are the controlling authorities? Point number 4. So controlling authority refers to the body or institution that has the power to make, enforce, and regulate rules or laws. These authorities ensure that people comply with rules and applies penalties or sanction when rules are broken. Or we can say refers to a person or group of people who were given the power by the government to restrict, govern, monitor, and control people to obey the law. Examples, we have police, local authorities, and court. What do these people do? When we talk about the police, these are people who make sure that people follow the rules and regulations. Okay? When you commit a theft, the police will come to you and arrest you. Why are they doing that? Okay? Why are they doing that? Because they want justice and not injustice. When we say local authorities, what do we say local authorities? You know, when you are in your society, they choose, like what we say, councillors, local councillors. A councillor is there to look what is really happening in that community and to make sure that people follow those rules. When you look into the court aspect, this is where now you resolve your issues. It can be either under balanced probabilities or proving beyond reasonable doubt. That's what we are saying. Court is there to make sure that justice is served to each and every particular individual in the society. That's what we are saying here. Okay? So it's to make sure that people follow these rules and the regulations. Follow them. If you don't follow them, certain punishment will be given to you according to the penal code of Zambia. Okay, I'm sure it's Act chapter 87 of penal code of Zambia. The punishment is specified. Make sure you are in your reign, you are doing the correct thing in the society or in the state to make sure that all injustice, they are preserved. You are there to preserve justice and also promote legal rights so that each and every individual will be able to understand their legal rights. Okay, that's what we are saying. So in your key definition term, you are supposed to make sure that these key points, they are not excluded in your definition. That's what it qualifies for it to be a what? A law, a definition of law. So under your law definition, you are supposed to have bodies of rules governing human conduct. Two, these rules, they're supposed to be recognized as binding by the state, and also they're supposed to be enforceable. These rules, they're supposed to be enforceable. Okay? When you are defining law, make sure these, they are included in your definition. Okay? At this point, now we look into what are the many characteristics of law. Remember, most of them we have already mentioned in the key definition terms. Characteristics of law. One, a law supposed to be a set of rules. And why are these set of rules? They're supposed to be governing human conduct. Okay? Where do these rules come from? They are created and upheld by the state. Who is the state? People. When these rules are created, they are backed by cohesive authority. Okay? They are backed by cohesive authority. And when these rules are made, violation of the law attracts punishment. That's what we are saying. And these are the main characteristics of law. Set of rules governing human conduct, created and upheld by the state, backed by cohesive authority. Also, violation of the law attracts punishment. That's what I had for you for today under the introduction of law, lesson 1. Hope we have understand the definition of law as well as the key concepts which are in the definition. Also understand the characteristics of law and also the examples which were given under the key definition terms, or as well as the characteristics of law. By ending our lesson today, we will look into the questions, the homework questions, which we are supposed to do before we go. Okay? So today, I want to have 2 questions for you. So question number 1, define law. Question number 2, what are the characteristics of law? By you explaining this, meaning you have understand what is law is and what are the many characteristics of law. Okay? For more information, you can look into those references which I've shared with you. We have books as well as the online resources. Okay? This is our end of our lesson for today under the legal process, which is introduction to law. For more information, feel free to contact me or send me an email. I'll be able to respond to you, or write in the comment section where you are not clear or the information you want to add on. You are free. Remember to subscribe. Also follow my channel. Also share to those people who are in need, or the student or the legal practitioner who are still find challenges to understand what law is. Okay, make sure to leave a comment, also like, as well as subscribe, also share. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.